A recent report says that Kenyans are malnourished, and we have our resident nutritionist here, Mudhoni Wayaki. Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Welcome
Good
to our
to be
kitchen.
here. Asante.
Now, we're going to try and figure out what other meals we can make that are accessible, that are affordable, that are nutritious and tasty. All this because we have an over-reliance on maize, on rice, and wheat, and all of this is in short supply, especially with the high food prices. So this is for you trying to reimagine Kenya's dinner plate. Now, Mudhoni gave us some ideas.
Yes.
So first things first, can you just give us an idea of, okay, so first things first, she actually already gave us some ideas of what to cook, right? So as I make that, she will be telling you and I about why we need to do this and what are the benefits of it. First of all, is it true that most of Kenyans are actually malnourished?
Yes, most of Kenyans are actually malnourished, and in fact, we have very concerning rates of child malnutrition in Kenya.
What's
and not
causing
only in rural areas, but also in urban areas.
Oh, wow.
So what's causing it is, like you said, an over-reliance in a lot of ugali, rice, not enough protein in the diet, not enough fats in the diet, and not enough vitamins and minerals in the diets.
Right.
Yes.
Somebody would argue that a lot of the foods that we are saying we are over-reliant upon are foods that our ancestors never quite ate.
Exactly.
Rice was introduced here.
Exactly.
Maize was brought by the Portuguese.
Exactly.
And what was the other one? Wheat also is not
indigenous to Kenya. Exactly.
So, so now you advocate, and the last time we had you on the show, you advocated for indigenous foods.
Yes.
Talk to us a little bit about indigenous foods.
Wow, okay. So basically indigenous foods are foods that are indigenous to Kenyan soils. So they grow naturally in Kenyan soils. I'll give you a good example. If I have a little garden at home, and recently I was planting because of the rains. So I planted onions and tomatoes, and without planting, today I was there and I realized the entire garden is surrounded by terere. Which I didn't plant.
Oh, wow.
So indigenous foods naturally thrive in our soils. Sometimes you don't even have to plant them.
Wow.
And not only that, they're also super nutritious compared with imported foods. Because what happens with foods that we import, there's a lot of modification of seed.
Oh, like GMO.
Exactly. So even if it's not necessarily GMO, the seeds are modified. So their nutrient value is much lower than what's indigenous to Kenya. So those are some of the...
What kind of nutritious and accessible indigenous foods are we talking about here?
Okay, we have some of them here. You did a really good job of sourcing them.
She gave me a shopping list, and I tried to find whatever I could as quick as I can.
You did a really good job.
I got njahi.
So we'll start with njahi, which has a bit of an interesting reputation on Twitter.
I'm telling you, people love to hate njahi.
People love to hate njahi, but njahi is a very, very valuable food. Actually, of all plants in the legume family, it's the highest in protein.
Is that so?
It is the highest in protein.
Beans?
Yes, it is much higher in protein than beans. Exactly.
So good people, we're going to make njahi. Yeah. What else do you have us make?
We may or may not make some little bit of omena.
Yes,
but
there's omena. Omena is easily available.
Easily available and also extremely nutritious. Very high in omega-3. And that's why you find children who eat a lot of omena actually do better in school. And you can take me to the bank on that.
There you have it.
Yeah.
From a nutritionist, certified and qualified. Children who eat omena do better in school. Is it true that omena is seafood? Is it? Some people are calling it omena seafood.
Yes, it is. Okay, it's
ocean food.
Lake food. Let's call it lake food.
All
it's
right.
Lake food. Yeah.
All right. What else?
We also have sweet potatoes, which are also a favorite of mine in the world of nutrition, because they are very, very nutrient dense. Basically, it means for each kg of sweet potato, there is a whole, it's packed with nutrients. So compared with feeding our families things like bread or white potatoes, this is significantly much more nutritious and has serious cancer-fighting properties.
Oh, is that so?
Yes.
Did you hear that?
Yes.
Njahi can actually help with cancer.
Sweet potatoes.
But, I mean, sweet potatoes. By the way, our colleague Ahmed Bahaj is in the vicinity. He's coming around after this show for the VAR Sports Show. He's also going to join us on our set to help us prepare this food and taste it as well in a short while. I'll find a nice apron for him. So you see, this is mine. This is going to be for Ahmed Bahaj. He's going to join us in a little bit. So now, there's some people, there's something else here.
Yes, we have another really valuable food, which we call matoke. So matoke again is like a green banana.
Yes.
Again, very, very dense in complex carbohydrates. So that means it's a kind of carbohydrate that releases sugar in your blood very slowly.
Wow.
So it's really good for...
And that's a good thing.
Yes, it's a good thing. Actually, people promote it for people with diabetes, but I say it's good for everybody. We all don't need to spike our insulin.
Right.
So these are really, really good carbohydrate for that.
I notice here there's nothing, with except, okay. We cannot do without wheat, so we brought an alternative, a hybrid. I mean, to try and meet them halfway. So we've got some buns here. If we have time, we'll try to make
njahe burgers.
Can you imagine a burger with njahe and buns? We're going to be trying that in a little bit. Wow. Okay, so Mudhoni, I want you to put me to work as you explain to us about the importance of all of this.
So first of all, this food, I took the liberty of starting to boil something.
You've done very well.
Yes, clearly.
Actually, I'm very impressed that you've boiled your matoke with the peel on. That's really, really good. It stores all the nutrients inside.
Good people. I will suffer the burn. You see, I have boiled the matoke with the peel on.
Exactly.
What does this do? It keeps
all the nutrients compacted inside the matoke, so they're not getting lost in the water.
Right. All right.
And also the big potatoes. Is this supposed to?
Is this the best way to?
Yeah, this is okay. This is the best way to boil.
Let me grab a plate here, or a bowl for that matter.
So just a tip to maintain the starch content of sweet potatoes, matoke, it always helps to boil starting with cold water.
Yes, actually, that's how I did it.
Yes, good.
See, I've got it, guys. I've got it.
When you put it into there's a lot of the starch.
Oh, is that so?
Yes.
So you start cold?
So you start always with cold water.
Oh, brilliant. So what can we do, what kind of combinations can we make with, say, matoke and with sweet potatoes? Let me have the tongs, please.
I have two things in mind. We could fry a little bit of sweet potato as a breakfast food.
Okay.
Or we could make a little bit of a mash that could go very well with groundnut sauce.
Oh, is that? Make a bit of a mash with this for like a starch to go with what?
It can go well with the groundnut sauce.
With the groundnut sauce.
Or if you had fried the njahe. It can also go well with
Can you do? We have some eggs here. Eggs are also fairly accessible.
Yes, fairly accessible. Preferably if you can do
Kienyeji eggs.
Exactly.
All right. So now I want to bring board close over there, and tomatoes. And some onions and yes. Now I'm going to try to do this as quickly as possible while...
Give a quick tip when you're
Yes, please. Yes, please.
When it comes to tomatoes and other vegetables like red peppers and yellow peppers, it's really, really good to wash them in salty water. So washing them in salty water helps us to remove a lot of the pesticide residue. So when you get your vegetables, just soak them in salty water for about 20 minutes, rinse, and you've removed most of the pesticide residue.
Wow, I never knew that. Salty water. Does
salty water.
Warm or cold?
No, cold is okay.
Cold is
water
okay.
with a bit of vinegar.
Water with a little bit of vinegar.
Yes.
Okay, so Ahmed is here with us. Ahmed is going to try and help us do this
As quickly as you can. Ahmed, come over. Come over. Ahmed is coming right after this show. He's going to join us with the sports show VAR. Ahmed, here you go. Karibu sana.
Vipi bwana, vipi?
Salama sana. Tuko katika hali ya mapishi hapa, mapochopocho. So here's the thing. You're going to put us to work. So let Ahmed, you can start chopping the onions. Come here, brother.
The tomatoes.
Do that. You do this. Yeah. Okay. So now we want to take a quick break as we get organized. When we come back, you will see just how far we've gone, and we'll get some more wisdom from Mudhoni Wayaki and our new chef assistant, Ahmed Bahaj. We'll be right back. Asante.
The news that matters the most is the one that hits close to home.